If you really want something, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. That line changed my life the first time I heard it. And if you'll let it, it might change yours too. Because here's the truth. Most people don't get what they want. Not because it's impossible, not because they're unlucky, but because they never really decided to go after it. They kind of want it. They think about it when they're tired, frustrated, or broke up, but they don't want it bad enough to change. And that's the starting point. You have to want it enough, not in your mind, in your gut. Want it so much that the excuses don't work anymore. You've got to get to the place where comfort isn't worth the cost, where the pain of staying the same is heavier than the fear of growing. I've had people come up to me and say, "I want to be wealthy." I say, "You?" Do they nod? Then I say, "Show me your habits. Let me see your daily disciplines." Because that's where the truth is. Wanting alone is not enough. Wishing is not a plan. Desire must turn into decision. Decision changes things. Not someday, not one day when it's easier, but the moment you say, "No more waiting." See, decision means to cut off. You cut off the escape route. You burn the ships. You stop looking for a backup plan and you build the life you really want. Now that kind of clarity, it's rare, but it's powerful. And once you have it, doors begin to open. But let me warn you, there's a dangerous little voice that'll try to stop you. It whispers, later. It tells you, next week. It says, when you're ready. That voice is a liar. Someday is how people waste their lives. Someday is how dreams die quietly. You don't need someday. You need today. Start where you are. Start scared if you must. Start small, but start. Motion beats meditation. Action creates momentum. Progress gives you power. Now once you're moving, once you've got the wheels turning, you're going to hit something called the price. That's right. There's a price. You can have anything you want, but you can't have everything without paying the price. And that price is discipline. Discipline is doing what you said you would dog long after the mood you said it in has faded. Discipline is setting the alarm clock and answering it. Discipline is saying no when it's easy to say yes, and yes when it's tempting to say no. You want success. You're going to pay either way. The question is, will you pay the price of discipline or the price of regret? Because regret is the real thief. Regret is watching your potential rot. Regret is carrying around the weight of, "I could've." Discipline costs you ounces. Regret will bury you in tons. Now you can't cheat this. Life doesn't work like a lottery. It works like a farm. Let me explain. A farmer goes out in spring and he plants his seeds. He waters. He waits. He tends. He works the field day after day. Then, a few months later, he gets the harvest. But only if he did the work in season. You don't plant in the fall and expect a miracle. You don't skip summer and demand a harvest in winter. Life works the same way. You plant now. You nurture. You protect. You wait. And yes, it takes time. But here's what I've found. People don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they're impatient. They plant a seed, and if they don't see results in a week, they give up. They walk away from their dream because it didn't bloom overnight. Don't do that. You don't pull up your seed every day to check it's growing. You trust the process. You do your part up and let time do the rest. If you do what's easy, life gets hard. But if you do what's hard, life gets easy. Now here's a little trick I learned. If you want a great year, start with a great day. You want a great day? Make a great morning. You want a great morning? Win the first hour. Small hinges swing big doors. The secret is found in your daily disciplines. Don't try to climb the whole mountain today. Just take one step, then another, and another. Don't get overwhelmed. Get focused. One small win at a time. Because small wins build confidence. Confidence builds consistency, and consistency, that's how you change your life. Now while you're changing your habits, changing your thoughts, I want you to also change your environment, because who you're around matters. Your environment is shaping you more than you realize. Your friends, your feeds, your conversations, your books. They're either building you or breaking you. You become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So take inventory. Are they lifting you up? Or are they dragging you down? Are they dreaming? Or are they complaining? You can't fly with eagles if you keep scratching around with chickens. Sometimes the best thing you can do is distance yourself from average, from noise, from gossip, from excuses. Upgrade your circle. Upgrade your input, and your output will follow. And lastly, let me leave you with this. If you want to change your life, change your questions. Most people ask the wrong questions. How can I avoid pain? How can I just get by? That's not how champions think. Ask better questions. How can I grow from this? What is this challenge here to teach me? What would the best version of me do right now? You ask different questions. You get different answers and a different life. So here's what I want you to decide what you want. Not what your parents wanted, not what society expects. What you want. Make a decision, not a wish, not a hope, a decision. Trade your excuses for action. Trade your comfort for commitment. Pay the price, gladly. Because what's waiting on the other side of that effort is the version of you've always known you could become. You don't get what you want by accident. You get what you pursue with discipline, clarity, and consistency. So start now, not someday. Now. The rest of your life is waiting. Most people think the big breakthroughs come from big changes. But let me tell you something that might surprise you. It's not the big changes that transform your life. It's the small ones done consistently. You don't need to revolutionize your world overnight. You need to improve your disciplines. Just a little bit every day, a new decision, a new habit, a new mindset, repeated. That's the secret. You see, success doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you're not paying attention, you miss it. Most people miss the whisper because they're too busy chasing noise. They're chasing shortcuts. They're chasing hacks. They're chasing the illusion that life is supposed to be easy. Let me be the one to tell you, it's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be meaningful. And meaning comes through growth. And growth comes through discipline. And discipline, it comes through doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Now I get it. Motivation wears off. Some days, you're tired. Some days you're discouraged. But here's the good news. You don't need to feel like it to do it. You don't need to be in the mood to follow through. You just need a reason. That reason, your why, is what carries you through the valleys. When the alarm goes off and your body says, no, your why says, get up. When life punches you in the mouth and says, stay down, your why says, not yet. So let me ask you, what's your reason? What are you working for? Who are you becoming for? Because if the reason is strong enough, the effort becomes small. People say to me, Jim, I want more discipline. And I say, no, you want a stronger reason. Find your why, and the how becomes easier. Now once you've got that reason, you've got to organize your life around it. Because a disorganized life cannot produce a focused result. What does that mean? It means this: if you want change, you need structure. Your calendar should reflect your values. Your habits should mirror your goals. Your schedule should tell the story of your future. Show me your day, and I'll show you your destiny. If you spend your time on distractions, your future will be distracted. If you invest your time in growth, your future will multiply. Don't just be busy. Be intentional. Don't just react to life. Direct it. I learned a long time ago, a day is a pocket of opportunity. It either works for you or against you. And most people don't lose their future in a year. They lose it in a day, then another day, then another. Until one day, they look back and wonder where the time went. But time didn't go anywhere, they did. So protect your day, plan it, guard it, and above all, own it. Now, while you're owning your time, don't forget to feed your mind. Because what you put in is what you'll live out. Most people guard their money more than they guard their thoughts. That's a mistake. Ideas are more valuable than gold. One idea can change your income. One idea can change your marriage. One idea can change your life. But ideas don't find you. They're attracted to you. And the way you attract better ideas is by becoming a better thinker. Read the books, listen to the mentors, take the classes, ask better questions, and don't just learn, apply. Because knowledge that isn't used becomes clutter, but knowledge that's acted on becomes wisdom. There's something else I want to remind you of. You don't have to do this alone. There's power in the right people. There's wisdom in the right conversations. There's momentum in the right partnerships. Find someone who's further down the road and learn from them. Not to copy them, but to shorten your learning curve. Life is too short to figure everything out the hard way. I had mentors. They saved me years of frustration. They helped me see my blind spots. They called me out when I got lazy and reminded me of who I was becoming. We all need that. Someone who believes in us until we believe in ourselves. But let me give you a warning. You can't take everyone with you. Not everyone wants to grow. Not everyone's ready to change. And if you keep dragging people who aren't committed, you'll start slowing yourself down. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let go, not from judgment, but from wisdom. Some people are not part of your next chapter, and that's okay. Growth requires pruning, and pruning makes space for better fruit. So choose your circle wisely. Surround yourself with people who stretch you, not just comfort you. People who challenge your thinking, not just agree with your excuses. And here's the secret. They're out there. But they won't find you hiding in mediocrity. They'll find you when you start living at a higher standard. Let me say that again. The right people will find you when you start living at the level where they already are. That's how alignment works. Now, if you're still with me, I want you to hear this. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are simply one decision away from a different direction. Maybe life has been hard. Maybe you've failed more times than you care to count. Maybe you're tired of starting over. But what if this time you didn't quit? What if this time you kept going, no matter what? What if this was the season where everything changed? You don't need perfect conditions. You need a clear reason and consistent action. And you've got both right in front of you. This moment, this breath, this decision. That's where it all begins. You don't have to know every step. You just need to take the next one. You don't need all the answers. You just need the right attitude. The rest will come. Because life honors movement. Life respects courage. And when you take that step, life meets you with momentum. So take the step. Make the change. Choose the new path. Become the version of you that you've been waiting for. The life you want isn't somewhere out there. It's in the choices you make. Today, if there's one thing I've learned in my life, it's this: success is not something you chase. It's something you attract. By the person you become. That's the golden formula. You don't go out and chase wealth, happiness, or success. You work on you. And those things begin to show up. Like magnets, drawn to character. So the real question isn't, how do I get more? The question is, how do I become more? Because when you grow, everything else grows with you. Your income, your confidence, your opportunities, your relationships, even your peace of mind. But the mistake most people make is this: they keep trying to change the outside, while neglecting the inside. They want better results without better habits. They want a new life without a new mindset. They want a harvest without planting new seeds. Let me tell you something important. Your outer world will never rise above your inner world. You can't outperform your self-image. You can't out-earn your belief system. You can't outlive the limits you've set in your own mind. So if you really want to change your life, start with the roots, not the fruit. Start with what you think. Start with what you say to yourself when no one's around. Start with the way you treat yourself in private. Because life doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. Now let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you upgraded your self-concept? When was the last time you stopped and really asked, who am I becoming? Because here's the truth. You're always becoming something. Every thought, every habit, every decision, it's shaping you. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be aware, because unaware people drift, and drifters never arrive. What's the solution? Clarity. Get clear about who you are and who you are no longer willing to be. You must draw the line. Say to yourself, that version of me, the one who gives up, who hesitates, who hides, that version is done. Not in anger, not in shame, in decision. Draw a line. Step over it. Don't look back. Now, once you've done that, something interesting happens. Your standards begin to rise. You no longer tolerate low effort. You no longer settle for emotional chaos. You start walking away from drama, laziness, blame, and excuses. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you've simply outgrown it. You start saying, that's not me anymore. And you begin to act like the person you respect. You start keeping your word even when no one is watching. That's called integrity. Integrity builds self-respect. Self-respect builds trust. And trust is what gives you strength when things get hard. Because they will get hard. Life isn't always sunshine and smooth roads. There are valleys. There are storms. There are days when nothing makes sense and quitting seems logical. But if you've built the foundation, if you've done the inner work, you won't break. You may bend, but you won't break. Here's the key. Don't build a life that looks good on the outside, but is falling apart on the inside. Build one that's rooted, quietly powerful. One that doesn't need validation because it has discipline. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I met a man who had everything money could buy. The house, the cars, the applause. But he was miserable. And I asked him, what's missing? He said, peace. I said, then you've built kingdom, but forgot the foundation. Because peace doesn't come from having more. It comes from being in alignment. When your thoughts match your actions and your actions match your values, that's peace. You can sleep at night. You can look in the mirror and smile. You can walk into any room and not shrink or perform. Just be. That's the kind of life you want to build. So how do you build that? By doing the hard things when it's easier not to. By choosing growth up over comfort. By showing up especially on the days you don't feel like it. The gym, the journal, the early morning, the quiet reflection. Those are the bricks of self-mastery. And here's a beautiful truth. When you do what others won't, you live how others can't. Because the world rewards the rare. And discipline in this day and age is rare. Everyone wants to be seen. Few want to be prepared. Everyone wants praise. Few want the practice. But you can be different. You don't need to announce your process. Just live it. Let your results speak louder than your posts. Let your habits whisper your future before you ever arrive. Now let's talk about momentum. Momentum is a powerful thing, but it doesn't come from wishing. It comes from doing. Start where you are. Build one win today, then another tomorrow. And suddenly, you're not stuck anymore. You're moving. You've got rhythm. You've got energy again. People ask, how do I stay motivated? You don't. You stay moving. Because motion creates motivation. When you're stuck, your mind plays tricks on you. It tells you, it's too hard. It's too late. You'll never make it. But when you're moving, even slowly, those voices quiet down. Because now, you're building proof. You're creating evidence. You're no longer just hoping, you're becoming. So don't wait for motivation. Create it through small, consistent wins. And remember, your habits are either designing your destiny or destroying it. There is no neutral habit. Every choice is a vote for the future you want up or the one you fear. Bite. Every word, every click, every hour, it all adds up. So if you want a different life, don't look for miracles. Look at your choices. Success is a result. It's the fruit of quiet, often invisible, daily commitment. The things no one sees, the days no one applauds, the sacrifices no one thanks you for. That's where it happens. That's where the real you is born. So if you've been struggling, if you've been stuck, I want to remind you, you are not weak. You are not behind. You are becoming. But becoming takes time. Becoming takes courage. Becoming takes daily, deliberate, sometimes boring action. So keep going, keep showing up, keep choosing growth, keep becoming. Because everything you want is on the other side of who you're willing to become. There's something I want you to remember. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. It's easy to dream. It's easy to say, I want more. But the question is, what have you put in place to support that desire? Because without a system, desire fades. Without a plan, motivation burns out. Without structure, potential goes nowhere. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And systems are what discipline runs on. Now I know the word discipline might sound heavy to some people, but let me redefine it for you. Disciplined is simply honoring your future self more than your current mood. It's choosing long-term gain over short-term comfort. It's deciding that the pain of growth is better than the pain of regret. Regret lasts a lifetime. Discipline lasts a season, but the rewards, they last forever. So ask yourself, what does my future self need from me today? Not someday. Not when life feels easier. Today. Because the truth is, you don't build a great life all at once. You build it in moments. Ordinary, quiet, often uncomfortable moments. The alarm goes off. Do you get up or snooze? The calendar is open. Do you plan your day or drift through it? The challenge shows up. Do you face it or fold? Every moment is a test, not from the world, but from you to you. Because life doesn't just hand you what you want. It hands you opportunities to prove that you're ready for it. And if you're not careful, those moments pass by unnoticed. Until one day, you look back not what you failed to dream, but at what you failed to do. Now here's a question to sit within. If your life stayed exactly as it is, would you be proud of it 10 years from now? Would your health be thriving? Would your relationships be strong? Would your finances be growing? Would your spirit be at peace? Or would you be carrying the weight of, I wish I had started sooner? See, that's the thing about time. You can't stop it, but you can invest it. You can use your time to build, or to numb, to progress, or to procrastinate, to grow, or to go in circles. You decide, and you make that decision not once in a lifetime, but 1,000 times in a day. Now let me talk to those of you who've been grinding. You've been pushing. You've been trying to change. And it still feels like nothing's happening. Let me offer you this. Growth is silent before it's visible. The roots grow before the fruit shows. The foundation sets before the structure rises. The internal shift always happens before the external results arrive. So if you've been working and it feels like nothing's changing, it is. You're changing. And that's the most important part. Don't quit during the quiet season. Don't stop watering just because the tree hasn't grown yet. Keep planting. Keep showing up. Keep choosing alignment over applause. Because real success takes time, and anything that lasts is worth building slowly. Here's something else I've learned: success is not one giant leap. It's 1,000 small choices made with clarity. Strength. It's waking up early even when you're tired. It's finishing the book when you'd rather scroll. It's having the hard conversation instead of avoiding it. It's showing up again after you failed last week. These are the bricks. This is how character is built. And let me tell you, character is more valuable than charm. In the long run, consistency beats charisma. Substance beats style. We're living in a world that worships appearances. But what builds your life is not how it looks. It's how it's held up. It's the internal strength no one claps for. It's the personal victories no one sees. It's the days you show up when no one's watching. That's what determines the future. You don't need to impress anyone. You need to honor your path. You need to become someone you trust. That's the real win. Because the greatest freedom is being proud of the life you live when no one's around. Now, some of you might be saying, but Jim, what if I've messed it all up? What if I've wasted too much time? Let me tell you something, you're not too late. You're not too old. You're not too far gone. You just haven't been shown how. You just haven't fully decided. You just haven't given it everything you've got. Yet, but you can. You still can. There's no expiration date on personal transformation. There's no limit on who you can become when you decide. That's the power of being human. You can start over. Without permission, you can rebuild. Without apology, you can turn the page today and begin writing a new chapter. One with clarity. One with discipline. One with momentum. And that new chapter doesn't start when the world gives you a sign. It starts when you give yourself a commitment. A real commitment. Not the kind you whisper on New Year's Day, but the kind you prove with every small action you take, day after day. So here's your invitation, recommit. Not to being perfect, not to doing it all at once, but to honoring the version of you that's buried beneath doubt, fear, and fatigue. That version is waiting, not for a miracle, not for the perfect conditions, but for you. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more examples. Be one. Be the person who turns discipline into freedom. Be the person who doesn't just start, but finishes. Be the person who shows what's possible when someone truly commits. Because someone out there is waiting for proof that it can be done. That change is real. That progress is possible. Let your life be that proof. Let me leave you with something simple but powerful. Don't just wish for a better life. Design one. Because a wish is passive. A wish waits. But design is active. Design takes the pen back from life and says, let me write this story. See, life will hand you default settings. It will say, here, settle for this. But you must say, no thank you, I'm building on purpose. Now how do you do that? Start by writing it down, not in your head. On paper with a pen. Describe the person you want to become. Describe how they live, how they speak, what they tolerate, what they expect. Because clarity creates energy. When you're clear, you don't waste motion. You don't chase distractions. You don't settle for crumbs when you've already envisioned the feast. Jim Rohn used to say, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan, and guess what they have planned for you? Not much. You must take the lead role in your life. Stop waiting for someone to hand you permission. You're the author. You're the builder. You're the leader. And yes, leadership starts with leading yourself. Now I want you to hear things. It's not too late to become that person. It's not too late to get strong, to get wise, to get healthy, to get clear, to get back in the driver's seat of your life. You just have to stop lying to yourself. Stop saying someday. Stop saying it's too hard. Stop saying, I'm not ready. Because the truth is you are ready. You've just been waiting for it to feel easier, but it won't. It's supposed to feel hard at first. That's how you know it's worth doing. The gym is hard. Waking up early is hard. Turning down distractions is hard. Facing your fears is hard. But living a small life, that's hard too. So choose your hard Growth is hard, but regret once stays with you. You want to get everything you want. Then build the person who can handle everything you want. Because if you don't have the habits, the structure, the mindset, the container to hold what you're asking for, it will slip right through your hands. Build capacity. Build roots before you build height. Don't rush the results. Become the kind of person that results are attracted to. That's the secret most people miss. They chase more without becoming more. And so they lose it just as fast as they got it. But if you build the foundation, you'll never fear the storm. Now, let me offer you a checklist. A daily compass. You can call it the 5 things to win the day. 1. Move your body. Even for 10 minutes. Physical movement energizes the mind. It says to the world, I'm awake, I'm here, I'm participating in my own life. 2. Protect your mind. Limit the noise. Watch what you feed your brain. Don't scroll first thing in the morning. Don't gossip. Don't consume what confuses your values. 3. Write something down. A goal. A lesson. A gratitude. Writing is how we talk to the future. It's how we keep track of the invisible progress. 4. Do one hard thing. One thing you'd rather avoid. Make the call. Finish the task. Say no. Every time you do the hard thing, you teach your brain, I do what needs to be done. 5. End the day with review. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? What did I avoid? What did I honor? What will I do better tomorrow? These 5 practices, if done daily, will change your life. Not because they're dramatic, but because they're consistent. And consistency compounds. That's the final lesson I'll leave with you. The compound effect is the 8th wonder of the world. Small things, done daily, add up to extraordinary things over time. $1 a day becomes wealth. A walk a day becomes strength. A kind word a day becomes trust. A page a day becomes a book. A decision a day becomes a legacy. So don't underestimate the power of one good day multiplied. You want to get everything you want. Then win the day. Then win another. Then keep stacking days until your future catches up with your effort. Because it will. The world may not notice right away, but eventually they'll ask her, how did you do it? How did you change? How did you build that kind of life? And you'll smile, because you'll know it wasn't one thing. It was everything. It was the decision to begin. So begin, not next year, not next week. Now, begin where you are. Begin with what you have. Begin not because you feel ready, but because you've decided that the life you want is worth it. And when you do that, when you truly begin, you'll discover that everything you've ever wanted was always waiting on the other side of who you were willing to become.